Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty big news right now where PlayStation is putting the pressure on, especially on their game devs. Now, as you guys probably know, PlayStation has gone through a few acquisitions, has spent a few billions of dollars, and right now, some of the game industry as a whole is kind of on that awkward slap, where some games aren't really making money, some games are going to be a little bit on the scary side in terms of if they even will make money. A lot of live service stuff is kind of cooling down, so like less people have time to play games, less actual disposable income to buy like DLCs, map packs, skins, or whatever it might be, and gaming as a whole is kind of slowing down. But as well, gaming costs obviously keep on going up, trying to go match up inflation, trying to go keep on paying developers, keeping developers and all of that. And right now it seems like Sony, especially with kind of the news that came out this past week, is laying down the law. Now, this could be a good thing, this could be a bad thing, but right now, PlayStation's putting a lot of extra pressure right now on, well, all these big companies they basically own. Now, as I'm sure you guys know, PlayStation has a lot of big subsidiaries and different types of game companies behind them with the PlayStation Studios, and PlayStation as a whole wants to make money. They're a big business, they're Sony, and well, obviously games, you want to sell games, you want people to enjoy games, and you also don't want to disappoint the gamers that are playing the games you're playing. And right now, it seems like PlayStation is putting on the pressure, especially for some of their bigger subsidiaries, and we're going to go talk about that as of right this second, which I think might be good maybe for consumers and maybe bad for the people working there. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below. We also have the Weeble sign up for that. You get a bunch of free stock and money if you guys want to go take a part of the random market bull run if it even happens. And of course, let's go dive on in. So, but kind of the big subject on this. So for whatever reason, Bungie's always in the news when it comes to PlayStation. Maybe because like Naughty Dog and other various places, or maybe a little bit more like under PlayStation's direct control. So maybe they have a little bit more of a hands-on experience and proper board on, like they're involved, like they're in the company. But Bungie has, since it has been acquired, is still maybe in that acquisition phase, kind of like where Activision is right this second, where they're like, moving people around. They're maybe still having like old management in place to be like, hey, if you're still maintaining like, profits and people are still enjoying the game, yeah, we'll keep you in charge. But if they don't, we're going to take over. There's actually kind of a big leak where PlayStation actually want to have a little bit more of a forceful acquisition. They already own it, so like they already technically can acquire it and change stuff whenever they want. But right now they're kind of like, hey, you're cooking, you've been in Bungie for a while, we'll let you go and do what you got to do. That's fine. But right now, Bungie's kind of been making a lot less money. They've been losing players. The overall community vibe on Destiny's been very on the lackluster side, and people are very concerned about the future, especially content creators that I know, about the future of Destiny 2, if Destiny 3 is ever going to happen, and all of that. But right now, PlayStation, like the big PlayStation head honchos, are kind of putting a lot more even extra pressure on Bungie. Or now the kind of news came out today saying the Sony president wants Bungie to be better at assuming accountability for development timelines. Now, you may not think this is a crazy headline, but this is, in my mind, a pretty crazy headline. This is basically them saying like, hey, Bungie, like Destiny, you should have been a big profit driver for us. We spent billions of dollars on your company, and we have to kind of not necessarily one-to-one, but we need to go use you for growth. You made Halo one of the more iconic series back in the day. A lot of people like playing Destiny. Like, we need to make money. Like, we need to go have a big competition towards Xbox. We want to have a game that basically Xbox can have. As of right this second is on Xbox, maybe like Destiny 3, you never know. Or things like a Marathon, PlayStation exclusive. But right now, a lot of people are calling out because they're saying like, hey, you're not doing good. Like, you guys might be delaying deadlines, you're wasting money, you're not being profitable, people are getting bored of our live service game, and we gave you a lot of money. Like, you're basically a PlayStation studio. If we have to step up and place ourselves in charge, we will, which already was threatened before. But right now, saying Hiroki Totoki says there is room for improvement from a business perspective at the Destiny studio. Now, if you're ever a company and your first thing is saying, yeah, there's room for improvement. Anyone who lives the corporate life or you guys have a job, I think you guys understand. Even for me on my YouTube videos, there's probably things I can improve on for sure, and I probably will in the near future. But right this second, it's like, hey, like if you hear that, that's kind of a negative remark, especially for a multi-billion-dollar company and your big head honcho bosses are saying there's room for improvement. Yeah, you probably got to start listening over here. But basically, PlayStation's putting the pressure, especially on Bungie, saying Sony president and PlayStation chairman Hiroki Totoki said that Bungie could be better at assuming responsibility for its development timelines, basically calling them on out and saying, hey, you got to go step up. You got to get your stuff a little bit better. During a QA session following Sony's latest financial results briefing, we'll maybe have a chance to go and dissect some of the stuff, Totoki was asked for an update on Bungie and whether he had any initiatives planned for the studio in the next financial year. Basically, people are trying to find out like if Marathon's going to come out, Destiny 3, a big expansion, because Destiny players have been left in the dark. So Totoki replied that while he was impressed by Bungie's ability as a video game developer, he felt that it can make improvements from a business perspective. And don't forget, they own Bungie. It's a business decision, and it's a live service game. They need to be making money, and this is kind of them. In my mind, I'm taking this as a bad thing. I visited the Bungie studios and had meetings with the management. He said, and I saw that employees working at the studios were highly motivated, showing great creativity as well as an impressive knowledge of live service. Good. However, I also felt that there was room for improvement from a business perspective with regard to areas such as the use of business expenses and assuming accountability for development timelines. I hope to continue the dialogue and come up with some good solutions. If there is a big enough problem that your boss that's visiting is saying, hey, we need to come up with some solutions to all these issues, that's not a good sign. Now, I think long-term that's good. You don't want to have people at Bungie being lazy. They are now technically a PlayStation studio. If you bought it and spent billions of dollars on it, you want to make that return. Think Call of Duty, think Activision, all of that. And, well, they also say business expenses. So they're probably spending a lot of money on a game like Destiny where there isn't really kind of coming out a lot of big updates. They have a lot of micro updates, but nothing really big. Their raids are always big. Their big expansions are usually well received, but these small things are not that good. And they say they also want to have more accountability because don't forget they also had a few big major delays and people are expecting and waiting for like a Destiny 3 of all things because, well, people just want it. And that makes sense. Like, you want to have your game be better. You want people playing your game. So when Totoki originally answered this question last week, the live English translation provided by Sony referred to PlayStation Studios in general as well. But now they're saying they had a new, basically new official translation, which it says is intended to replace the simultaneous translation of the question and answer sessions previously provided. And this also has now been translated to Bungie in, like, just specifically them. It was reported in December that Bungie's position as an independent subsidiary of Sony is actually under threat, and we kind of covered that news too as well, where Sony as a company has been, like, they want to take over Bungie. They already own it. They can. They're allowed to. But they're basically saying, like, if you're making money and everything's going good, like, we don't want to disrupt management. We want to go make the people that you're maybe used to or the bosses are used to, we don't want to, affect it. But right now, we're seeing even more negative statements and them basically saying, like, you guys got to step up. And I think this is also kind of following the news, or their stock has fallen a lot this week. PlayStation and Sony has lost like billions of dollars. I think the number's been $10 billion, which is insane. Granted, you can always go get it back. Stock can go up, whatever, but stocks can also go down. Like, today's been a bad stock market day too as well, so it's probably even lower as of this second. And what is the big issue? Well, they're just not making stuff that people are proud of and they want to go spend money on. So if you're a company, you want to go and step up and be like, hey, we see the potential. Like, we see you cooking for Marathon. We see you cooking for Destiny 3, next Destiny expansion, maybe a fighting game, MMO, whatever you might be making. We see you cooking it. But you got to cook it better. Like, this is basically like them making a grilled cheese and they're trying to go have like a burger. Like, they want something filling. They want something good. We spent like $4 billion on Bungie. We want that good. And they're not getting the good. So it seems like PlayStation is disappointed. It seems like PlayStation is mad. And don't forget the big issue with PlayStation was they had like a public statement that's been going viral. It's really bad PR. It's bad for the stock. It's bad for people buying PlayStation consoles where they are saying that their 2024 is going to be dry for games. Why do you buy a PlayStation? To play good games. Why do you go and buy a PlayStation? For single player games. And I mean, obviously, like, PlayStation is probably like the more better hub for Destiny, but at the same time, it's like you need people making stuff. You're a live service game. You need people to keep on playing the game. Like, you don't want to keep on playing the same strike, the same raids, all that nonstop, because it gets boring. Like, you want new stuff. You want new mobs. You want new raids. You want new areas. And I really do think Destiny's been slacking. They had a chance to kind of coast, but they had to go and like use that coast time to make something better, not kind of go and get yelled at by PlayStation. Like, PlayStation, it feels like is disappointed. Like, they thought this would be a better company. And now I'm not saying it's a bad company. Not saying that Destiny's a bad game, but they really need to go and do well. Like they have to do with Activision now at the same point. They're saying when they announced their intention to acquire Destiny, they would continue to operate independently too as well, so they could still self-publish and choose where they want to play. However, IGN report has stated that the company's board structure is contingent on Bungie hitting certain financial goals, and then Sony can dissolve the existing board too as well. They also had Bungie staff reportedly warned that their revenue was running around 45% below projections. And at the same time, they also do layoffs on people. It was horrible, and right this second, it does seem like PlayStation's very disappointed in what PlayStation's going to go and do, especially now with basically Jim Ryan retiring, and now Totoki doing the interim CEO. Like, there's going to probably be a lot of big changes, especially for those big companies if they're not making what they need to. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We got that Weeble if you guys want to get a bunch of free stock, and of course, I just appreciate you guys all for watching. Give me your thoughts and comments down below.